Hi everyone, I hope you are well. Recently I did a couple of videos on habits, and today I'm going to talk about another habit that people have and can sometimes cause people a bit of annoyance and a bit of distress, and that is a habit of needing approval or wanting to be liked all the time. Now, first of all, just to be aware of why we do that. Seeking approval, wanting to be liked, and wanting to be reassured or whatever. You're not bad for doing that. You're not wrong for doing that. There's no shame in doing that. That is a habit that many people get into from they were very young. And the reason why we get into habits of people pleasing, approval seeking, reassurance seeking, whatever, is we do it when we're very, very young. We do it for one reason. And that reason is usually to feel safe and to feel accepted, and that we won't experience any rejection. It's like kids in a playground. What we want to do is to be everybody's friend. From you're very young, you want to fit in, you want to belong, and you want everybody to like you. And that makes you feel okay. That's a natural, normal human response, right? We do that as kids. Some of us grow out of it. Some of us don't grow out of it. And we just continue to do that because we feel better when people are accepting us, people are approving us, people are liking of us. And some people can go through their life like that, and that is okay. It only becomes a problem when it starts to affect you. When you feel within yourself that you're not being yourself, you're always having to you're wanting people to like you. So when it's always saying yes to everything, even though internally you want to say, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to have that. But you are afraid of upsetting someone, afraid of someone not liking you, afraid of rejection. So what do? You say, okay, no problem, I'll do it. And then you resent it and you think, I wish I could just tell them I don't want that, I don't want to do it or whatever. And as I say, it's not a bad thing, but after a while it can become a bit that it wears you down, because after a while you realize you're not being yourself. You're doing things to please other people. Now, if that's you and you want to change that, number one thing is do not beat yourself up for that. Do not beat yourself up if that has been a habit of yours. We all have habits. It was my habit. I was a people pleaser, right? Today I still please people, but I do it with balance, right? I understand. I like to please people. I like to be of service to people. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when it gets out of balance and when it starts to affect you, right? So it's not about you're going to change your whole personality. No, you're not. It's only if it has affecting you in a way that you don't want to be that way anymore. So first of all, don't beat yourself up for it. Second thing is to accept that that is a habit that you have, right? So acceptance is coming into reality and thinking, I'm inclined to be that way at times. Even if you just accept it to yourself, I can see now that I'm inclined to agree with everybody rather than feel rejected. So accept it. It's nothing bad. It's part of you. It's part of me, a behaviour that was part of me. And what I had to learn to do is realize what I was doing. And that's all I'm suggesting to you. Just be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of your patterns. Be aware of what you're doing. And even ask yourself, why do I do this? Just to check in with yourself, why am I doing it? Okay? And what would happen if I didn't do it? Right? So just check in with yourself and ask yourself questions like that. If you want to change it, first of all, accept that you are that way. It's not a bad thing, and you're not terrible for being that way. It's just a habit. But like any habit, you were getting a benefit out of it. And that benefit was a feeling of, I'm okay here. They like me. I'm okay here. I fit in. That's the benefit. But you're paying a price for the benefit because you have to forgo yourself. You have to maybe turn down your own preferences in order to please other people. So there's a price, but there is a benefit of it. So you've got to understand, if I still want to feel okay, what am I going to do, right? So it's understanding that you're going to have to change the pattern, right? If you want to. So the next thing is you've got to do something. And that means you've got to move out of your comfort zone, because approval seeking and people pleasing and needing reassured is a comfort place. It comforted you. It made you feel okay. So if you're going to change that, you're going to move out of that comfort zone, right? So first of all, to be aware, you're going to move out of a place that's comfortable. And all I would suggest to anybody that's making any change in behaviour is you do it in small, small pieces. And the first thing I would suggest to you is just remember what you're doing if you feel yourself doing it at times, and just pause before you respond to someone. If someone says, will you do this? Will you go here? Will you whatever? Just pause before you give your answer. Just pause before you make a decision, so that you have a bit of time. And even you might say to someone, listen, can you leave it with me? Let me think it over, whatever. Buy yourself time to either make the decision whether you want to do it or not. So the first thing is, get into the habit of pausing. Another thing you can do is to say to yourself, do I want to do what this person's asking me, right? So you've got to ask yourself that question. You have to know, what is your intention of doing the thing for the person or being a certain way for the person? Just ask yourself, what is my intention in agreeing to do this? What is my intention in agreeing to be this way? Just check in with yourself. And if you can get a thing, I'm only doing this because I want them to like me. I'm only doing this because I don't want to feel rejected. Then you know you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're doing it because you want to be accepted, right? So just be aware of what you're doing things for. And in order to change it, you have to decide, I want to do something differently. And it means just that you're going to experience discomfort, and you're going to experience maybe people not liking you, saying no, but that's okay. That is okay. Remember, you don't always have to say yes to everything. It's okay to say no. It's okay for you to not want to do something. It's okay for you not to be a certain way. So just be prepared that when you start to transition into a different behaviour, you're going to feel discomfort. But if you think of it in this way, what you're trying to do is build another muscle, right? Because you've got into the habit of being a certain way, right? And now it's not working for you so well. So what you're trying to do is build another muscle. And it's a bit like anything. If you hadn't exercised, if you hadn't done anything for a long time and you started going to the gym or went out for a walk, you come back, you were exhausted or your legs were sore or whatever, because that part of your body was not used to it. But the more that you do it and the more that you do it every day, it starts to strengthen a part of your body, and then it's no big deal. So when you start doing things, little small things like pausing before you make a decision or asking a question, get into the habit. You might feel uncomfortable. You might feel a wee bit frightened. You might feel a bit, oh, I don't like this, I'm afraid, because you're looking to the other person to see what their face is like. Just be prepared for that you're going to feel a bit frightened or a bit scary, right? Be brave. Remember what you're doing it for. It's to start being yourself, right? Start being yourself rather than being what you think everybody else wants you to be. And most times people will say, oh, that's okay, it's no bother, right? And if people have got a difficulty with it, they'll get over it in time, because what you're trying to do is to teach people that you don't do things that way anymore. And you do that in little bits. So remember so you're first of all got to be aware what you're doing. Just be aware that maybe you do, your habits, what you do. Accept that you are that way. It's nothing wrong with it. You're not a bad person. And the action is you've got to start changing the pattern. And that means you moving out of your comfort zone, right? It's not going to feel nice and cozy. It's going to feel a wee bit, oh, I don't like this. I don't feel comfortable. And you might want to jump into your comfort zone and say, yes, yes, yes. But remember, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got. And when you're not being your real self, your true self, it can start to affect you in that it can cause depression, it can cause anger, it can cause loneliness, it can cause sadness. because you're not being who you really are. And at the end of the day in life, you need to be yourself. Don't be looking outside yourself for people to like you. Don't be looking outside yourself to be approved. The first place it has to start with is you. You are okay. You've always been okay. You just think you aren't, and you're looking outside yourself for people to approve of you. You are okay. Remember, internalize that. I am okay. I don't need approval. You've got to, start saying that you are okay, and validate yourself. Don't look for other people, because always in life, there's always going to be people that won't like you, or you don't agree with them or whatever. But ask yourself, do you like everybody? Depending on your personality, if you're a quiet person or a sensitive person, sometimes you don't like to be around people who are noisy or maybe different from you, and that's okay. It's not that there's anything wrong with those people. It's just that you don't feel comfortable in that particular situation. And it's the same with other people. Other people maybe aren't comfortable around you. It doesn't mean to say there's anything wrong with you. It's just we all have our own preferences. And that's okay. We are all different. And, we're attracted to different people. So because someone doesn't like you or doesn't approve of you, doesn't mean to say that you're bad, that you're wrong, or that you're faulty. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. You are okay. You've always been okay. You just think that you're not. You just believe you're not. But I can reassure you, you are okay. Just you start from there. And if you want to change the habit, start doing it in small steps. One day at a time, 1 hour at a time, to the best of your ability. Sometimes you'll do it, sometimes you won't do it. That's okay. Change is about jumping out of your comfort zone, jumping back in again, until you start to get used to it and you realise, I don't have to do it anymore. Probably nobody has told you that you don't need to do it anymore. You just think that you have to. So anyway, I hope this has been useful for you. In the meantime, stay safe and stay well and look after yourselves. Until the next time, take care.